It is about to be 4 in the morning and I cannot sleep because I want to talk about one of my favorite horror movies that I never see anybody talk about. And you may be wondering, who am I? Where am I from? What is this YouTube channel? And honestly, that doesn't matter right now because I want to talk about one of my favorite horror movies. And it's almost that time of year, so this would be a great horror movie to start off with. This year's been pretty rough. 2020 has literally been, Dante's Inferno in real life. And so I think this would be a great one, like, movie to start your horror season off with because it's funny, it's spooky, it has like a little bit of everything that would really entice plenty of people. And I am a huge fan of horror. I love horror. I love the good horror. I love the bad horror. I love the ugly horror. I don't love all horror movies, but I at least give most horror movies a shot. 9 times out of 10, if it ain't supernatural, I ain't interested. And that's just me. But ultimately, I still enjoy them in some capacity. Love getting into new horror movies, like testing them out, trying like what's new. And I love this time of year because that's when like new horror movies are coming out. Like YouTubers are making more videos about like, oh, like 20 horror movies to watch on Netflix, or oh, like here's some spooky stories to, make sure you don't sleep at night. But none of that matters because I don't sleep at night anyway. So that's all fine with me. So you might be wondering, what is this movie that is so good that I had to talk about right now at 4 in the morning? Well, this horror movie is so good and so bad that it's good. It's a terrible horror movie. I will outright admit it is a terrible horror movie, but it's so terrible that I just couldn't help but love it. And I never see anyone talk about this movie, and I am so excited to talk about this movie for no real reason. Probably because I'm tired. It's 4 in the morning and I can't sleep. But that's fine. That's all right. We don't sleep here. We don't sleep here in the horror community, and that's the entire purpose of it. The movie I want to talk about tonight is Zombies of Mass Destruction. And it is one of mine and my best friend's favorite horror movies for a number of reasons. But because it knows it's bad. It knows it is a bad movie. It's not trying to be a good movie. It's being a bad movie without trying too hard to be a bad movie. It's accepting itself. It's accepting itself, but not trying too hard to become something it's not. And I love that about this horror movie. This movie is one of mine and my friend's favorite movies. Me and my best friend, we love this movie and we try to watch it whenever we get the chance now. We saw it when we were, God, I think we were in like high school when we first saw it. Or it might have been just right after high school. Either way, it was a delight at the time to watch it. And then years later, we're like, oh, like, we need to get Zombies of Mass Destruction at some point. And we just never actually got it until we got Amazon Prime. And my friend was like, oh, do you want to get Zombies of Mass Destruction? I'm like, yeah, of course I want to get it. Like, let's watch it. And so we did. We watched it. And I loved it, like, even more the second time I had watched it. It was just a delight. Now, why is this movie something I would recommend? And I'm recommending it because it has a little bit of everything. It has, where do I start? It has a little bit of everything that I love in the world. It has the gays. Like, to start off, it has, like, one of the main characters is, like, or one of the two main characters are a gay couple. And that is always a plus for me when there's a gay. But there's also some other things I love, like diversity. There is a girl who looks Middle Eastern, and of course there's also the racist Americans. That is always fun and just a delight to watch. And then on top of that, there's the homophobic church, Christians and their homophobia. Gotta love them. But there's also this sweet little teacher who's running against the also Christian homophobic mayor to be mayor. And she's just a sweet lady who is just happy and joy. She looks like someone I would love to have as a teacher. Like, just this movie has a little bit of everything for everybody, and I love that about it. But the best part about this movie, it has zombies. I know, like I wouldn't have guessed it either when I first saw the title, but they have zombies, and like it's like some new age thing, and it was just so mind blowing. Like their zombies are so unique and just so tasteful. Obviously, all jokes aside, it's bad. It's very, like, watching it now that I'm older, it's like I realize how genuinely bad it is after like seeing more good horror movies like The Thing as just like a random or a better example in the same genre of like type of movie, 28 Days Later or 28 Weeks Later. Either two, like they're both really good horror movies. Personally, some of my favorites. And like for serious zombie horrors, Zombies of Mass Destruction is just not that, and that is perfectly fine with me. It is just something to relax and chill to, and have a chuckle. So before I get into actually talking about what else goes on in Zombies of Mass Destruction, or like anything specifically in the actual movie, like if you like horror movies that are bad and like that don't pretend that they're not bad or that try too hard to be bad, then I would suggest going and watching Zombies of Mass Destruction and then come back and watching the video if you just want to hear my take on the whole movie. But either way, before we go any further, spoilers alert, just clarifying because there are still some people that I know have not seen this movie and need to see it. So you might be wondering, what is the story for Zombies of Mass Destruction? Like, what's so fun about it? Well, there are three main characters in the movie. There's a gay couple, and then there's an Iranian American girl. And so, the Iranian American girl, her name is Frida. She is returning, back to this island, full of obviously small-minded people and just dealing with Americans, which if you're from America and you're a minority, you know what that's like. And she's returning after dropping out of college, and so she has to deal with her neighbors that are extremely racist without realizing they're being racist, or they might just be really stupid. It could be both. It's possible that it's both. You can be stupid and racist. But on top of that, she has to deal with her father, who wants her to, obviously be going to college and be, this idea of an Iranian girl that, like, an Iranian woman that he pictures for her. And he runs a restaurant on the island that, everybody, ultimately knows, and they know him, and, vice versa. Our other main characters are Tom and Lance, and they're coming to the island because Tom is from the island. Like, he grew up there, mind you, small-minded people, and never told his mother that he was gay. He never came out there. He just, left and never told anybody about who he is. And honestly, that is a mood. I 100% feel that. I could 100% on board with, like, just leaving the country and, like, never telling anyone, like, anything about me. And just, like, pretending like I don't have family. And honestly, I want to be Tom. I would love to be Tom. He is precious boy. Either way, returning to, the island to come out to his mom. And so the movie kind of jumps back and forth between the main characters, and honestly, I think that's great because it kind of gives you a moment to, like, take in what's going on, like, in each, like scene, whether it be like something horrifying or something really funny, and you can just laugh about for a minute. So let's, for now, talk about what happens with Frida and her side of the story. So when everything kicks off, like zombie wise, she's on a date with some dude that got fired from her dad's restaurant, and she actually complained about, like, this dude is not even worth complaining about, honestly, but she complained that her dad fired him from the restaurant even though he was, just a dishwasher. And it's like, honestly, how do you get fired from being a dishwasher? Like, it's, honestly, I hate doing dishes, but you know what, I will do them and get the job done. It's money. And so she's on a date with this guy, which, does come out of nowhere. And so they're, just in his car, smoking and doing whatever kids do, those days. When was this movie made? Hold on. When did this movie come out? 2010. Back in 2010, I was in 10th grade, and I was just a lowly 10th grader minding my own business. I was not the typical teenager. Anyway, it just immediately, like, you just don't like him, and you can't help but, like, somewhat feel bad for her because, it's like he's the only person that comprehends, okay, like, yeah, I get you hate this place and you don't want to be here. It's like everyone else is perfectly fine with being, just there. And to her, it's mind-blowing, which, honestly, understand. Like, everyone out off that island would pretty much understand why you wouldn't want to be there. And so, he made her a song at some point. Like, she just got back, and I don't know when he found the time to make her song. Like, did he just have this song waiting for her? Like, or did they keep in contact? Like, none of that's ever clear. It's just, like, they are, I guess, interested in each other in some way. He's obviously interested in her in a romantic way. I can't be bothered to remember his name, so I'm just going to keep referring to him as him, because he dies pretty quickly, and he is not important at all to like, whatever story there is in this movie. And so, he plays her the song, and she laughs about it, because it's a really bad song. It's not good, like, it bad song. And she's just, like, they're just kind of kicking it. And then suddenly, like, a zombie comes out of nowhere and bites him in the neck. And one of this scene right here, like, the funniest part in the scene is literally when he's, like, screaming about being bitten in the neck and, like, screaming about how that's his blood. And the entire time, like the music ends up turning back on while she's trying to escape, as zombies just suddenly swarm the car. The zombies literally came out of nowhere, and she's trying to get out of the car, and she kicks, like, the what's it called, the brake. She kicks the brake. I don't drive. I don't know anything about driving. And she kicks it, and the car starts going downhill, and it's just, like, it's already a roller coaster. Like, this isn't even that far into the movie, and it's already a roller coaster. And during all this, Tom and Lance are in the process of trying to tell Tom's mom, hey, he gay. And so, like, when he finally gets the courage to, like, yell out to his mom, like, there was a little bit before this, like, it's just not that interesting of, them just sitting there talking about, the hints that he was gay the entire time in, like, high school. And so when he finally gets the courage to tell her, she's, like, in the kitchen grabbing some extra food, and he's just like, Mom, I'm gay. And it's one of my favorite, it's another, like, really favorite part in here. Like, so I had to look this up real quick just to be sure I was saying his name right. But the best way I could describe Zombies of Mass Destruction and what it ultimately is, and like what, like who it would remind me of, is if Brandon Rogers made a movie about zombies, like 100%, like that is what Zombies of Mass Destruction reminds me of. And I, that's probably one of the reasons I love it, because I love Brandon Rogers. He's so funny. But so they finally, he finally comes out to his mom, and then she comes out of the kitchen and she just looks like stunned, as if like she had just died. That's because she did. And she literally looks like she had died. Like, she looks really badly. Like, it's uncomfortable. And so she's like trying to bite him, and they're obviously not realizing yet that she's a zombie, and he's just like, no, like, I love you, Mom, like, this is who I am, and stuff like that. It's like, honestly great. So by the time they somewhat figure out that she's like a zombie, like, they've barricaded the door and they look outside and there's all these zombies, and it's like, oh no, like, we have to stay inside. And his mom's like stuck to the wall because the boyfriend like shish kebabbed her with like one of those pokey things that you get from a fucking, what's it called, fireplace. I looked it up. It's called a fire iron. I did not know this. I probably did and just did not remember. Either way, she stuck to the wall with this, and then she her eyeball fell at some point, and like Tom like throws it at her and she eats it. Like, it is it's so gross, and I hate everything about it. I was so grossed out by that. And he's just like sitting there wallowing in sadness about his mom like being a zombie and looking like, oh, remember Dad? It's just, and she throws up on him. There's a lot of gross stuff in this movie. Like, for a bad movie, there's a lot of gross stuff in here, and I hate it. I say I hate it, but that's not true. Like, I love it. Anyway, I think Tom went to go clean up or something, and like Lance looks away for a second, and then the mother's gone. Like, somehow this huge zombie pulls herself, like the quietest of zombies, pulls herself off of this fire iron. That's what it's called, the fire iron. And she pulls herself off the fire iron and attacks the boyfriend. And the boyfriend, obviously, is like losing it, for obvious reasons. The zombie's attacking him and like yelling at Tom to like do something, and he doesn't do anything. They ultimately just leave the house and just leave her there. And I'm like, damn, you're really gonna leave your mom there? Like, at least, like, just put her out of the misery. Like, she ate her eyeball, my dude. Like, just, like, she's gone. Just put her out. But whatever, it's fine. So, remember how I mentioned, Frida, and, she has her, like, she escapes from the random horde of zombies that literally came out of nowhere, and, runs off, and she ends up finding, like, her neighbors. And I'd also like to point out real quick, because I didn't mention this, but it's very obvious that the neighbor boy likes her. Like, it's, like, surprisingly, they don't, like, lather it on, like, most horror movies do. Like, for a bad horror movie, they are able to make it very obvious that this boy likes Frida. Yet again, can't remember his name, because I honestly don't care at all about him or his family. But they do such a good job at making it obvious he has a crush on her. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. Too bad your parents are racist, my dude. Obviously, he's not racist. His parents are pieces of shit, though. I specifically hate her father. And I will explain now why I hate his father. So, they bring her into their basement. Like, oh my god, all these zombies. Like, let's protect you. And then the wife gets bitten while taking her, like, while they get her into the basement. the more I talk about this movie, the more I'm remembering, because I do plan on rewatching it, like, the beginning of October, but I haven't watched it for, like, a month or two. I should watch it every month. It's, like, make it a religion for me, because of how much I love this movie. Anyway, that's not important. Well, it is important. Either way, they get her down to the basement with them, and the mom got bitten, and like, the dad and the son are, you know, they're just arguing, like, most of the movie anyway, when you see them, so, like, they're probably still arguing at this point. Either way, like, for some reason, like, this is literally racist logic I will never understand. He believes that Frida is the cause of, like, everything going on. Like, something shows up on the TV that makes him, like, lose his shit, and so he, like, ties her up, and he's, like, planning on torturing her. And obviously, dumbass torture. It's funny to me. I'm pretty sure, like, one of them was like, eat this piece of meat, consume it, to prove that you're an American. Because apparently only Americans like meat. I mean, if it's deep fried and smothered in butter, yeah. Then sure, yeah, only Americans like that. Anyway, so they take Frida, and, well, the father ties Frida up. Mind you, the mom is bitten. Like, he doesn't even think to, like, tie the mom up or do something to make sure she doesn't, like, attack them. Like, it the logic here. And, like, even the son points out, Mom is dying. She is turning into one of those. She has been bitten. She's gonna turn to a zombie. We need to do something. And the dad just responds with, you know I don't watch zombie movies. I'm a vampire guy. I think that's what he said. I don't care enough to go quote him, but I still found that hilarious because, like, no racist would be a vampire guy. Like, I don't have a joke here, so. Moving on. So, like, that goes on, and she's trying to convince the son to be like, don't you care about me? Like, don't you want to help me? Like, you know, help me get out of here. And at this point, the father has nailed the lady's foot to the concrete. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure most basements have concrete as their flooring. So he nailed her foot to concrete. Don't think that can actually happen. But if it can, I wouldn't know. I've never tried nailing a foot to concrete, and I don't think Google has information on that. But either way, it is, like, that is something I expect to see in Hostel. I did not expect to see that in Zombies and Mass Destruction. But while the father is away trying to find some other torture device to torture her with, because apparently she's not shown she's American enough, even though, you know, he's asked all these ridiculous questions that even, like, 90% of Americans don't even really know, like, every single state. Like, unless they're singing it, which he makes her sing it. Either way, like, I can guarantee you that most Americans couldn't name off every state. So while he's away, the son is, like, being convinced by her, and he's just like, I want to help you, and, but, like, there's no reason he, like, the father hasn't necessarily been, for at least that I remember, he's never, like, been physically stronger or violent. Like, honestly, the son weighs more than the dad. The dad, like, the son could easily, like, chokehold body slam the dad. Like, dad would be on the ground if, like, the son had some balls to actually stand up to him, grow a pair. That's why you're never going to be at Frida. He's never going to be at Frida because he dies. Either way, he starts helping her, and, you know, things ensue in the sense of, like, he's trying to help her escape, and then the father comes back, and yeah, it's just a mess. Like, it's honestly a disgusting mess. So, in short, Frida gets tortured by racist family, and she tries to convince the son to help her, which I'm like, why wouldn't you help her? Your parents are pieces of shit. There's no build up here. Like, Oh, because of your parents. Yeah, well, most millennials don't give a shit about their parents. So just help her. Just help her. Like, you are more likely to get it if you help her. But anyway, he semi helps her. Then dad comes back, and then arguments ensue, and like he fights. Like a fight happens, breaks out. Mom bites, and Frida ends up getting away. So this entire time, like, Frida's dad is a fucking trooper. Frida's dad is like out there just destroying zombies. Like, he is straight up the MVP of, like, he has the highest zombie kill count in possibly all of cinema. I could be wrong. I might be over exaggerating, but I always over exaggerate. That's fine, dear. And so he's just being an MVP, like running around the island, killing zombies, and just yelling Frida. It's literally the whole like, what is it? Fucking Heavy Rain. Josh. Was it Josh? Jason. It's literally the whole press X to Jason situation. Like, it's literally press X to Frida here. And so he's just spamming that shit all around the island. And then they eventually meet up at their house again because Frida finally, got away from her racist neighbors that were, honestly, like, I'm so glad they get eaten. Like, even the son. Like, I don't care if the son got eaten. Like, it's fine. Either way, they meet up back at, like, their house, and he's just so happy that his daughter's okay, which I don't hate the father. I actually really like him. He's like, he just loves his daughter, and he wants the best for his daughter. And I'm talking as if this was a good movie, as if it matters, because it doesn't. Either way, sadly, dad dies, and because he, like, I think he got bitten. I don't know. Either way, I can't remember. That scene was pretty quick. But, Frida's obviously upset. She loves her dad. And honestly, same. I love your dad, too. Like, I love anyone that could be a badass while killing zombies. Like, unless they're a racist, like the neighbors, like, I root for thee if you can be the MVP while killing zombies. So, while all the racist shenanigans are going on with Frida, Tom and Lance have their own situation because when they escaped Tom's mom's house, they ended up in the church, which, like, real quick, in the beginning, Tom talked about how the church, sent a boy that came out as gay when they were in high school. Like, they sent him to a conversion camp, which is so gross, and sent him to a conversion camp, and he was like, he was never the same again. Which, I mean, yeah, like, I completely understand that. And so they're like extreme homophobic. They're not like your everyday, I don't like gays getting married. Gays shouldn't be allowed to get married. No, like, they're not your everyday homophobes. They're like straight up probably predator Christians that are just gays should not be a thing, and it's something they should fix, which is disgusting and wrong, and I hate everything about it. But it okay. Like, they get their karma. It's cool. They get the karma. Anyway, at this point, Tom and Lance are in the church, and this entire time, Lance has worn a shirt. This is one of my favorite things. Lance has been wearing a shirt that says, "With him," I think. It says, and he's always on the side where it's pointing to Tom, and I wish my life was just that comedic. Like, I wish I could have a shirt that said, "With my partner," and it just always be like happen to end up like that. Like, I'm not doing it on purpose. But in the church, he has to zip it up because, oh boy, they might be, oh no, like, they might be gay. We have to make sure, the gays don't get in. And so, the church is being Christians, like, what Christians do. And ultimately, the teacher is there with them, and the mayor, of course, is there because, he's a super Christian too. And so they get into a disagreement, which, this is a zombie apocalypse. Why? What are you disagreeing about? Like, she's talking about boarding up the windows and like barricading the doors and just making sure like everyone's safe inside until help comes, which honestly, same. Like, I 100% am on this lady's side. But no, like, the mayor has to get all his attitude about, like, he's literally more preoccupied with staying the mayor. Mind you, he's bitten. He's literally in the process of turning while, you know, his bitching is going on. Oh, my bad. Preaching. And this whole thing is happening, and they point out, like, oh yeah, he looks like he's bitten. He's showing all these signs, and they're just like, I don't know what you're talking about. He looks fine to me. And he's literally making up excuses every time they point out, well, you have this and you have that and all this. And it's just so stupid because, like, I hate the guy. And then the moment, like Tom goes off on him and Lance is, like, gets up and tells him off to, like, yes, queen, we stand a bitch that will fucking stand up to the homophobes and the Christians. Like, yes, fucking tell it to them in their own house. All about that. I love Lance. He's so funny. And so literally the mayor is just like, take off your jacket or unzip your jacket. And I actually died here because, like, Lance was just, like, looking, and Tom's like, no, don't do it. And he unzips it, and I was like, oh! It's literally that gasp moment that, like, some movies have, and it's so stupid. Honestly, me and my best friend are probably the only people in the entire world that find Zombies of Mass Destruction so funny with its, like, little bit of humor in, like, each part. And you know what? That's fine. We will be the only two that love Zombies of Mass Destruction. That's perfectly fine with me. But I just couldn't help myself but laugh when that happened. Because, like, oh my god. The gay is in the church. Everyone in the church is, like, ready to, like, mob them and be like, oh my god. The gay! Get him! Put him out there with the zombies! How dare! Like, apparently being gay is as bad as being a zombie, and honestly, yeah, like, being gay is just being a zombie. It's, the only difference is dick. Like, only difference. Because apparently the straights can't catch the zombie. So, but the pastor preacher, I don't know who he is. He is just some weird guy. I think, hold on. Sorry, I had to look up something just to be sure. Either way, the pastor preacher, whatever the hell he is, I don't know. I don't know what churches do or be doing. Either way, he is just like, no, we don't do this. We don't throw them out to the demons of the night. What we do is we convert them. And then, like, Tom and Lance are like, oh, no, remember that story I told you? Like foreshadowing. Like, do you remember the story I told you about, like, in the beginning? Oh my god. Lance is never gonna be the same. It's honestly so tragic. It's really not when you actually get to a scene of them, like, doing the conversion. And, like, while this is going on, like, the mayor's he's turning into a zombie. Like, at this point, there is no denying it. And he does turn into a zombie. And he wants to eat everybody's face off. Like a zombie would do. And like, everyone's just ignoring this, and I'm just, like, screaming about it, like, the entire time. Even rewatching it, I'm just like, y'all are idiots. You're more concerned about the gays than, like, the possibility someone's just tie them down. It's not that. Why does this always happen in, like, anything zombie related? Be it horror, like, movies, games, shows, like, creepypastas. It doesn't matter. It always happens where it's like, someone might be bitten. Oh no, we can't just toss them into a room and see what happens. Like, oh no, we can't do that apparently. And why we can't do that, honestly, I couldn't tell you. Anyway, No one ties him up, they just kind of leave him to wander his freedom because he deserves it. In any case, the conversion therapy commences, and by commences I mean they show like really like weird and bad. I don't know, like I think it's supposed to be like testing if they're gay or something. Dude, I don't know anything about conversion therapy. I'm not gonna lie, and honestly, I don't want to know. I'm fine with that. Either way, when this conversion therapy starts, it is hilarious because it's literally just like old-timey, like in the deserts, like guys rolling around, and like all the dudes there that are like helping with the conversion therapy, including the guy who runs the church. He's like, they're like covering their eyes and they're like glancing over it, like and Lance is just like, this is your conversion, and that is their conversion therapy. That is what they use to convert, and it's honestly just the dumbest thing I've ever witnessed. I couldn't help but laugh at this entire scene. Anyway, like, meanwhile the mayor is turning and the teacher is in the room with the mayor, and I was so scared because I was like, I don't want the teacher to. I don't want Frida to die. I don't want Tom or Lance to die. And I didn't want the teacher to die. And I was like, these are the only people I care about. I don't care if anyone else dies. Just please let the teacher live. And I was so scared. Now, if this was like a legitimate horror movie where, bad things are supposed to happen. If this were The Walking Dead, they would all be dead. If this were The Walking Dead, everyone would be dead except for one of the gay men. Only one would live. And it would probably be Tom, and I'd be so upset because I love Lance. Like, Tom's cool and all, but Lance is cute and funny. Lance is really cute. I really like Lance. I just, oh my god. And so, like, when realizing this, I was like, thank God this movie doesn't take itself seriously, because then the teacher would be dead. And somehow she's not dead. And she comes down into the basement where the conversion therapy is going on, and was just like, oh, like, we gotta get out of here. And, like, I guess at this point, people are rolling out, and like Decepticons and armies coming in, like, straight up annihilating all the zombies, because they're like the typical slow moving zombies. Like, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to deal with them. They're anyway, they get out of the basement, and like Lance, whatever it was they had in the IV drip, Lance is like high off that shit. He is drooling. He is just like, he looks like he's gonna throw up. He probably does throw up. I don't remember. Either way, they carry him, or they pull him out of the fucking basement, and like the teacher sees the mayor again, and she finally, like, Tom had a gun this entire time that he didn't shoot his mom with, even though, mom was attacking Lance, precious baby boy there. And so Lance Tom is the one that has the gun. Tom gives the gun to the teacher, and the teacher sees the mayor and is like, now is my time to get my revenge for you being a fucking misogynist. Hell yeah, I'm gonna fucking I love it. Like, best revenge. I am all for that type of revenge when it comes to like shit like that. When it comes to like in zombie movies and stuff, like, at least give them their revenge. Always give the characters their fucking revenge. Let it happen. Like, stop taking away people's revenge. Anyway, so they're trying to get around and escape, and my favorite line occurs in here, and Tom can't keep carrying Lance, and Frida took her father's shotgun and is just going outside blowing bitches up. She's the new MVP. She picked up the belt from her father and is now the new zombie MVP, and just going to town on these bastards. And she aims the gun at Tom, and I panicked at this point. But the best line in the entire movie happens, and like the line that solidified my belief that this is my favorite favorite movie of all time. And that was, "Don't shoot, I'm gay." I deliver it terribly, but when Tom said it, I actually busted a gut laughing because, and like watching it now that I'm older, it really, really solidifies my belief, like that line right there solidifies my belief that this was like Brendan Rodgers had to have made this movie. Like literally, "Don't shoot, I'm gay" is just, it's something I could see being in one of his skits. And it ends. So the movie, well, the bad zombie parts end, and there's a time skip, and now the teacher's the mayor. Yay! I was so happy she became the mayor. Like, who else is gonna become the mayor? She deserves it. She is a queen, and we stand her. And I'm like, yes! Like, I want to live in that town now because she's just so awesome. And then Tom and Lance are there again. And they go to see Frida, and they're like, "Oh my god, like, you're here." And Frida at the point is like, she's running the restaurant that her dad left her. And, like, this is probably the only part of the movie I don't like, is Frida is the only one that ends up unhappy because she's running the restaurant that her dad ultimately had wanted her to run. He wanted her to be there and run it. And I was just so upset about that because it's like Frida's the only one that doesn't get a happy end, and why? What did Frida do bad? Like, she deserves her happy ending where she gets to live in the big city with Lance and Tom because they invited her to live with them. I don't know what city, but I'm gonna say New York. Could be a lie. You know, obviously correct me if I'm wrong, and that is perfectly fine. You are free to correct me because I do not remember. But I will when I rewatch it next month. And so they invite her to stay with them. And I was like, "Oh, Frida, go stay with them." And of course, Frida is not going to do that. She is like going to stay working at a restaurant. And even though she doesn't want to be there. And it's like, you know, even though that racist family's gone, she's still dealing with racism. Like one of the servers comes up saying, you know, something about how like people don't understand what this Indian food is. And just, oh my god, like, why does she have to deal with this? Like, you are a bad movie. You are not allowed to have any of the characters that survive have like a shitty life afterwards. But here we are, Frida just like having a shitty life. And I was upset about that. But it's okay. Tom and Lance live. As long as she's alive, like, I believe that she will eventually, like, move on and get the fuck out of that town. Then again, the new mayor, she is a queen, and we respect that. Anywho, that is ultimately my reasons, or could you call this a review? I don't know. Maybe. It could be a review for all I know. If it is, it's probably one of the world's shittiest reviews. But I don't care. As long as some people see this and are interested in Zombies of Mass Destruction and want to watch it, that's perfectly fine with me. But ultimately, sure, yeah, a review. I love this movie because it is something, it like I said before, it's just it's a zombie movie that doesn't take itself seriously. But it also doesn't try to be too outrageous to where it's annoying, which a lot of like horror movies that are trying to be funny and trying to be, oh my god, look, we know we're a bad movie, but like, look how bad we can be. No, like, no fam, just be as bad as you are and that's fine with me. You don't need to go the extra mile. And like, I think that's like the best part about Zombies of Mass Destruction. It doesn't do that. It literally is just like, we bad and we're only this amount of bad. We don't have to go the extra mile to be bad. We bad. And honestly, yes, I live for that. it's nice to have something that I can go back to every so often with my best friend that I watched in like high school and just enjoy it because it's bad. It's nice. And I hope that more people watch it. And even if people are like shitting on it and say how it's terrible, that's fine too. Cause like, yes, that's the point. We know it's bad. You saying it's bad is like saying the sky's blue. Bitch, we been new. Anyway, that is my, I don't know how long this was. This is my first video I've ever made, and it's probably the worst time to be making it at 5 in the morning. It's 5 in the morning, and I finished my recording my first video, and I just used my favorite Sims over it. Like, look at this little cat. Look at him go. But this is, I do plan on making more videos. I might make a video about like, oh, who I am and blah blah blah. But honestly, none of that matters right now. Go watch go watch Zombies of Mass Destruction. Just go do it. Like, you don't have to subscribe to me. You don't even have to like me. You just need to go and watch Zombies of Mass Destruction. If you at least give it a shot, you're cool with me. You don't have to like it. Hell, you could hate it. It could be your most hated movie. But at least you tried. And that's fine with me. So, until I possibly think of something else I might want to record, my next video is probably just going to be the video I've been planning to start off with. This is just dumpster fire. Either way, have a nice day.